You all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Can I get a roll call?
Here.
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 Yeah.
Here. First on tonight's agenda is we're having a public hearing on the preliminary budget. So, Counselor,
Yep.
well, why don't we just
I'm sorry.
find it? Well, we will waive reading of the public notice and go right to public hearing on the preliminary budget. Tonight, we are presenting the town board's preliminary budget. The preliminary budget carries with it a overall increase in spending of 1.3% as it stands right now. With that, I will open it up to the public. If anybody has any comments sitting here tonight, if you would approach the mic and state your name for the record and make your comments. Going once. Okay, we will open it up to those joining us by Zoom tonight. If any member of our video audience joining us by Zoom has any comments, if you would state your name and address for the record and make your comments or ask your question. Does any town board member have any questions or comments about the budget?
Yes. First of all, is this town board comfortable with presenting this budget with only 3 work sessions, budget work sessions? When we usually have 2 or 3 more more work sessions than this year. And with those 3 work sessions, I know I wasn't at any of them. I wasn't available for any of them. I know 2 out of the 3, there were only 3 board members present at those work sessions. So is this board comfortable with presenting a budget after only 2 out of the 3 work sessions were only 3 town board members?
I attended all the meetings, so.
Well, I didn't attend all the meetings, I'm sorry. I would be a little more comfortable. I was going to ask if that moving forward, we could make sure that when we do salary increases, that we used a rubric method. So that at least we would have some justification for giving or not giving a specific increase. So it's basically a sliding scale that we would follow and then justify the raise or not as much of a raise. So I was hoping that we could do that. I know I've asked for it before. The session that I did attend, I did comment on.
So again, I had a question. I only got 2 answers. The rest of the board is comfortable with your.
Charlie did answer.
Are you comfortable, Mr. Supervisor?
Yeah, I am absolutely comfortable. Listen, my responsibility in all this is to present the tentative budget. And then I coordinated with the work sessions that the town board asked me to schedule and scheduled with the individuals that they wish to talk to.
And that was scheduled last minute.
Peter, with all due respect, everybody knows what the schedule is for the budget. Everybody knows that I'm presenting the tentative budget at the first town.
I'm talking about the work session budgets, the work session meetings.
And
They
everybody
were
knows that,
scheduled last minute.
listen,
Not everyone has
So-
availability a couple of days. And your comments were, as long as we have 4 out of the 5 council members there, then we could. we
well,
could have
I
the-
tried to arrange
of
a
having everybody.
schedule based on what everybody gave me as for their availability to, accommodate as many town board members as I could.
Right, and that was last minute.
Peter.
We scheduled in January. I know this year we said we're not gonna schedule in January because I know in the past, Councilman Rogan usually goes hunting this time of year and doesn't make all the sessions. And that was fine, but I think, a couple of days before the meeting is not really ample time to schedule important work session meetings.
Peter, listen, I don't know where you're going with this. I don't know what you want me to say with this.
I'm just
Everybody
asking the
knew-
board if they're comfortable with only having 3 work sessions when we usually have 7 or 8 and we have more town board
And
members.
you've heard.
I
from-
asked if we're having more meetings than these 3 and you said no.
And you've heard from 3 of the board members that they were comfortable with the work sessions that they've had. I scheduled the work sessions that were requested of me. Scheduled the people that were gonna be here. You didn't make yourself available, even though you know the budget is coming out the first meeting in September, even though every other year you know that we start scheduling work sessions right away in September. I mean, typically, we're scheduling these work sessions in September.
But you can't
the
blame me,
beginning of the
you
year.
can't blame me for not being at a work session when you schedule it a couple of days in advance.
Everybody else
And-
made it.
and
So,
if
Peter, I don't know. what
Not
you want.
everyone else made it. It was the 3 of you and Councilwoman Smith made one of them.
So I assume that you are not going to be voting on this budget.
You can assume all you want. I'm just asking if the board's comfortable with that and just putting it out there that we've had 3 budget work sessions. When we normally have 7 or 8. When we normally have more members, council members present, where we have opportunities to ask and get feedback and learn more about the budget. That's all I'm saying. If you guys are comfortable with it, it doesn't matter because you only need 3 votes to pass the budget. So it doesn't, I guess it doesn't. really
What I'm hearing is everybody's comfortable.
Not everybody, just.
Well, I think that moving forward, we should schedule them at the reorg meeting like we've done in the past. The recommendation came to not schedule them because we were unsure about Councilman Rogan's schedule. And actually, I was the one that brought that forward because it was typically the 4 of us and you would come in maybe at the last one. And I didn't think that that was really in the best interest of making a decision on this and then having a vote, and you only being at one meeting. So I was actually the one that recommended that we wait and see what your schedule is like and then schedule them. But guess that we should probably moving forward, start putting them back on the calendar on specific dates so that we all know and we're aware that we should be making ourselves available on those dates.
I'm fine with that. I would prefer that.
Mhm.
Can I ask why we only had 3 and not the normal 7 or 8 that we usually have?
Because nobody asked for anything.
Did
Did
not.
you ask for anyone?
I did. I said, are we having any more work sessions? And you said,
No,
no.
but specific to meet with specific department heads, because we asked to meet with,
Why wouldn't we meet with all department heads? Why are we meeting with one specific ones?
we met with department heads that we felt that we needed to get more information from. We met with the Putt Lake Park Board. We met with the
Fire
Putt Lake
department.
Fire Department specifically. Patterson Fire Department came in with a very modest budget. There wasn't anything that they felt that was necessary to go over. It was a pretty straightforward approach. But Putnam Lake had some specific concerns about radios for 911 communications and some things that they needed to talk about for future funding. So, I think given the modest budget, I think we were able to do our due diligence. As Councilman Smith said, she attended the one meeting. She asked for follow-up correspondence and documentation from our comptroller, which was provided to the entire board for review, right?
Mhm.
Right.
We also received updates on the budget. Is that what we got?
About that?
Is that what I got before the meeting? Update.
I don't think so.
You got a summary of what we met and discussed at that.
Well, I also
work
think
sessions.
Moving
Why we getting
forward,
that now?
anyone that
So you
anyone
have
that has to
information in front of
do a
you.
budget for their department, we should be meeting with. Separately. moving forward as well.
Okay, understood. And Peter, I just want to remind you, you did give me a schedule with nights that you could attend work sessions. And we held work sessions on one of those nights at least. You didn't attend.
That was the night after we canceled the meeting because I was sick. I did have a sinus infection. That was one meeting. And I apologize for this.
I believe I was sick as well.
Also, I see we have it on the budget to vote on tonight. Didn't we agree not to vote on items that we have a public hearing in the same night?
So, it's been the past policy of this board that they wanted to adopt a budget before the election, so everybody knew where everybody stood on the budget. It's not my recommendation we adopt it. There's at least one other issue that we probably should talk about. I was approached by our EMS administrator who would like to make a change in the budget, a minor change that has no real impact, but in my job, I prepared what the board needed to make a decision if they so choose to make a decision tonight. If you don't want to vote on it tonight, I'm okay with that as well. But you've got a resolution here with, everything in it that you need to have in it. If you so choose to do that. If you want to, so everybody knows where everybody stands before the election, which is always the past policy. I've tried to do as best I could this year, trying to move forward in a very difficult time, because, everybody was not giving me days that they could all get together. And tried to move the budget forward following the past practice.
Well, also, I had asked like mid-September, when are we having these budget meetings? And you say, well, we're gonna wait till the next meeting to schedule them.
Actually,
I don't know why we even waited this long. Why didn't we just schedule them in July, August? This way we can have ample time to put in our schedules and block out dates.
You asked
That's
the last day of August 31st, are we gonna have budget meetings? And at that point, I was finishing up the tentative budget. The next meeting, we could all get together to talk about the schedule in public was the 11th. Everybody should have been here on the 11th, knowing that they were getting the tentative budget, prepared to give dates in which they could get together.
I just think that it was too late. That's just my opinion.
Well, the tentative budget's coming in the middle of September. You sent me an email at the end of August. Give me the dates. Tell me when you want to get together. It's not up to me to tell you when you need to work on the preliminary budget. It's up to you to tell me, and I'm just trying to facilitate that.
But also, again, three meetings, I don't think is, when we've had 7 or 8 in the past. 3 meetings with just 2 out of the 3 with just 3 council members.
Okay, so what would you have accomplished if we had a 4th meeting?
I would ask, we wanted updates, and what did I miss? What else do we, who else do we need to talk to? What do we talk about in the other previous years in 7 or 8 meetings?
Well, here we are at the public hearing. Ask your questions.
It doesn't matter because you have your 3 votes.
Hello?
But obviously you didn't care if I was at meetings or not.
If your opinion is that public hearing still open.
He will provide you the recording with our peer reduction. Okay.
Can you, whoever's trying to state a question, if you could lower your YouTube in the background.
And thank you so much
And
for
then state your question, give your name and address first, and then state your question.
hello. Hello. This is Patterson. Yes, it is. Yes, I do have one of our flight authorization from our CDU.
Okay, all right. Anybody from the audience? Sir, if you'd like to approach the mic, state your name for the record.
Sure. This is John Flavin.
I'm sorry, who?
John Flavin.
Okay,
It's my first meeting that I've come to. So I'm, just for reference, I'm 67 years old, approaching 68. I'm in my 45th year in the commercial industry, still working, but I'm thinking about reallocating some of my time and starting to pay more attention to things like the town that I live in. So as my first meeting, what I'm surprised about is there's something as important as a budget. And there's not a consensus amongst the board members themselves. And I'm hearing questions from a gentleman in the end saying that why haven't there been the normal amount of meetings on something this important? And then I heard some questions from Mary regarding payroll increases and things of that nature. So it would seem to me a better use of time rather than debating why somebody missed certain meetings or not, to have the right amount of meetings, to have a meaningful discussion. And I did hear you mention that it was driven by wanting to get something in before the election. But that's, for something so important, you shouldn't rush it for something that isn't a hard cast requirement based on what I've heard so far. So I would just encourage, based on what I'm hearing tonight, that we do have more meetings to discuss the budget. So that, we opened up with 1.3% increase, which doesn't sound like a lot. But for all I know, Peter may have had ideas that would have resulted in a 5% decrease year over year, which would be a meaningful accomplishment for taxpayers. So I do, while I didn't have any questions at the beginning, I do now, and I do have concerns. So I want to go on record and state that. And I would encourage the group to conduct more meetings, whether it's after the election or before it, but get to at least a consensus amongst you five, I guess it is, and then come back and create a better sense of confidence for the rest of us taxpayers that this is being run efficiently and effectively. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if I could just respond to you very quickly. There is never any set number of budget meetings. Sometimes we have more, sometimes we have less. A lot depends on the complexity of the budget and the budget requests that we receive. If we receive, nothing significant or substantial, we can usually go through this process pretty quickly. But your point is well taken, and Peter's point is well taken. And certainly if he has questions about the budget, we don't have to adopt it tonight. We can, work on it at a later date. But so everybody knows, it does have to be adopted by the end of November. Oh, what was that? Okay.
Sounds like there's a lot of sickness.
The end of November is also different than November 7th. So
Absolutely. Absolutely, sir. Anyone else? Motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
You're asking, I thought you were making.
Okay. Somebody like to audit the bills? Sir?
Bruce Major, 166 Somerset Drive, Patterson. Last week, Peter, I learned that you moved your family up to Albany, and I was wondering, do you currently have an address here in Patterson?
You're mistaken. I don't know who told you that.
Well, I got it from a retired guy from Greenberg PD. I guess they were talking about it.
So that must be credible information.
Okay.
No, that is not correct.
So you didn't move out of your home over here?
I moved out of my home on Sapling Court. I have two daughters that are in college. My wife's a travel nurse, so she does live up, and it's not Albany, it's Boston Spa. So we did move her into a new apartment up there, a little larger. So when we're up there visiting, we have a larger place to live. So there was no sense of me being in a house by myself with my dog. So
That makes sense, yes.
I did move out of the house to an apartment.
And so
Still
you
live in
filed your
Patterson.
new address with the town clerk?
I have not had an opportunity.
Well, I hope you will, because I believe it has to be on file with the town clerk, seeing that she handles your certification and your oath of office.
Thank you.
And just
thank you.
quickly, in case you don't know, I'm probably the only one who is not on the town board who has gone to budget meetings. I've gone to budget meetings, going back to the previous supervisor. Often they weren't happy that I was there. And what I have to say is, there are years when it's difficult. Post-fire department scandal. The next three budgets were difficult. There were a lot of money issues. They were looking to buy trucks with money they didn't have. So there have been difficult times, and there have been very easy times. I did participate and I did show up at the budget hearings this go around. If Peter wishes to bring things forward, I would hope that you allow him time to bring things forward. Same thing with Mary. I don't think Mary made the last budget meeting that I was at. I would hope they've had the budget. I would have expected them to submit, if they couldn't make
The, public
the
hearing.
meetings, to submit them in writing.
Just when we-
That's all that I have to say. Thank you.
We usually, I thought we usually save it to the end, not to.
All right. Audit of the bills. Somebody
I'd like
audit
to make
the
a motion to approve abstract number 19 dated October 13th. It says 2003, but I'm sure it's 2023 in the amount of $306,948.49. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have budget transfers, and we start with one that's moving money to cover the cost of the installation of guardrails at the rec center, the playground installation. And we have, in this case, of course, it's allocating parkland funds to the recreation playground capital project. We have a resolution that covers this. So first, I'm gonna make a motion that the town, this is in the amount of $25,000. So I'm gonna make a motion that the town board approve the resolution before us, and that it be entered into the record as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. All right, thank you, Mary. Now, here's what we're going to increase planning board fees, parkland fund, $25,000. Going to increase interfund transfer revenue accounts, $25,000. Then we'll be increasing transferring money to the capital projects, $25,000. And increasing the recreational capital projects, capital outlay expense accounts, $25,000. So I'm gonna make a motion that the town board, based on this resolution, approve budget adjustment request number 24, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next, we have budget transfer request number 28, and I think there's this gap because we approved some of these other ones beforehand.
Two different things.
All right.
Yes.
And this one is to allocate additional funds for the veteran service equipment and capital outlay accounts for the banners that you see around town. So we're gonna be moving $379 from the contingent contractual expense accounts to veteran service equipment and capital outlay expense accounts, $379. I'll make a motion that the town board approve budget transfer request number 28, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next one, we have budget transfer to reallocate funds for the recreation department programs contractual camps account for additional costs. So we'll be moving from recreational programs, personnel services, camps, expense account, $500, and moving into recreation programs, contractual camps, expense accounts, $500. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve budget transfer request number 29, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We good?
Good.
Sean, you're up.
Okay, the board will recall that, last meeting, we had the public hearing on the 2024 Special Districts Assessment Role. We have a resolution for the adoption or acceptance of that role. There were no changes that were required as a result of that public hearing. So I will make a motion that we introduce the resolution for the acceptance of the 2024 Special Districts Assessment Role and ask that it be entered into the record as though read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item we discussed a couple of months ago, and it was a request from a landowner on Stagecoach Road for the potential abandonment of a section of that road, which essentially just goes to his home. He's had some significant problems with vandalism over the years, people going down a portion of the road that they're not required to for any other reason than going to his house. And so we have before us a map that was prepared that shows different sections of the road, and that basically codes it into areas that we can consider for potential abandonment. So if the board would take a look at that map, the green section is what is currently and would be continued to remain as town maintained. And then there are a couple of other sections, a red section, which is the section we just spoke about, which leads just to the gentleman's home that requested, and some other sections which have potential impact to property owners. So what I think the board needs to consider is what sections we would like to move forward with abandonment. And once we've decided that, then set a public hearing for this.
Jamie, you have anything to comment?
No, I think that's procedurally, you're correct. I did go out to the site to see it. The section that's shown, I believe, in yellow on that map is substantially overgrown. Pursuant to the highway law, it's considered a qualified abandonment, and that's the procedure we're going through for any road or portion of a road that has less than 2 vehicles traffic per day. This probably hasn't had a vehicle in a number of years. Yes.
Go path, right?
Yes, Rich told me that it was open and laid out at some point, but seeing it, I couldn't even believe that at some point in time it was open. It just looks completely wooded. So it's an area that is probably could be potentially be costly to the town because it's shown as a road. And at this point in time, it's completely undeveloped as a road, and the cost to develop it as a road would be substantial. It's a steep incline. I'd encourage anyone who hasn't seen it in a while just to take a look.
The section in yellow, the goat path.
Mhm.
If the town formally abandons it, but the property owner who owns significant acreage there wanted to propose a residential home, would they be able to construct
A
a
driveway.
driveway that they would be solely responsible for, not the
Mhm.
town? So it wouldn't preclude someone from future development. It
No,
would just not put the onus on the town.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
And the public hearing, of course, anyone who lives in the area and on top of the public notice of that public hearing, anyone who abuts that road should get notice of the public hearing directly. So a letter sent to them with that notice.
So should we abandon this road? Everybody should be aware that what happens then is the road, the property that underlies the road gets split between the adjoining property owners down the center line.
Okay, yeah. Well, so then that brings up so then if someone wanted to improve the road for a home, they would potentially, again, I haven't been out there, but usually these old roads are lined by stone walls and, would they have the room, or would they'd have to shift over onto their own property and improve that section?
Perhaps.
Or get an easement from the opposite side of the road.
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
And we would want them to shift over on the east side of this old road coming down from the green. It is a very steep drop off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was also out there and I used to drive this road. And when I was out there, it's difficult even finding where that path is.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
You'd have to throw some real legitimate hiking boots on. You're
Yeah.
not doing them in your town meeting shoes, that's for certain.
Yeah. Well, again, we started the conversation with a request from a homeowner out of, from a security standpoint. And the town has said that it's been difficult. It's difficult to plow down to that point anyway, because then they don't have any place to turn around really. So I think for the town to terminate the road where there's a natural it's not a cul-de-sac, but it is a turning point
Mhm.
to the east side of the road. Allow the homeowner to then they can put in a privacy gate so that they're the only ones that'll have access to their own home. Town isn't responsible for maintenance. And then any section further that, we're not precluding someone from having potential road, that would be potential road frontage through a 280A, through open space. They would have to go.
Could be.
Okay, because they don't have road frontage on a maintained town road, so that would be something. But we're not taking away property rights in any way. We're just, I think, protecting the town from unreasonable maintenance to an area they don't have to, So I'm in favor of proceeding with an abandonment.
Jamie, simple motion to hold a public hearing, or do we need anything more formal?
No, I did send over a resolution, but you could, to set a public hearing on it.
I did not get it,
Okay.
so it may have come in after 5.
It went, I sent it yesterday, but I can, of course, re-forward it, but essentially the purpose is to set the public hearing on
Sure.
it.
Is the rest of the board comfortable with setting a public hearing on this? Okay, I'll move that, in the matter of Stagecoach Road, that the town board set a public hearing for the, meeting of November 8th, if we can get all the public notices out at that.
Do we need more notice?
You need at least 20 days.
Oh, okay, so what's that next date on there?
Second meeting of November?
29th, 29th,
Sure, that's messed up because of,
29th.
22nd?
22nd.
Oh,
22nd.
I don't think so.
Oh, no,
I think
because
we're
that's
skipping
Thanksgiving.
I think we're skipping a week, so it's the 29th.
Second meeting of November.
There you go, so moved.
Second.
What?
Which date was it?
Whatever date is on the, here, we have it here. It is the 20th. Mary, you're correct. It's on our cheat sheets here on our folders.
All we have to do is look down.
November 20th.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, last meeting, we talked about doing some zoning changes. I prepared the local law, it's local law, local introductory law number 4. We are looking at making some minor adjustments to the zoning code to deal with architectural standards and the conflict between the architectural standards for the planning board and the ones for a special use permit, and we are looking to make some adjustments to the accessory apartments law as it relates to changes to health department policy. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce local law I-4 and ask for a public hearing that will be held on November 29th. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next up, we had talked again last meeting about a policy for videotaping within the town hall and courthouse buildings. There's a policy that's been reviewed by the board at this time. And without any further discussion, I will introduce the resolution to approve the policy establishing the rights of access to town-owned controlled and leased properties for the purposes of photographing, video recording, and or sound recording within public and non-public forum areas. So
Second, for quick question.
go ahead.
Jamie, we had asked for you to review it in reference to
Yes,
constitutional rights.
yes, and I did send an email on that, but that was today, so you I likely haven't seen it yet. So as to constitutional rights, the town hall is considered a limited public forum. So other than this meeting room, which when you're having a meeting, you couldn't deny the person's the ability to take photographs or videotapes. You can deny videoing and photographing in the other town hall areas, including lobbies and hallways, so long as it is not viewpoint specific and it's reasonable. So given the policy that was written, I believe that there wouldn't be any question that it's reasonable and it's not viewpoint specific, since it's a general prohibition against photographing or videotaping. And it does not include this meeting room during public meetings. The other area that you could not prohibit videotaping and photographing would be outside the building.
Outside looking in or just the exterior of the building?
The exterior of the building, of course, if someone's standing at an office window, that would be problematic because there's that sensitive information, which is our concern with not allowing videotaping to begin with.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I believe we've decided we're going to not do anything with the final budget tonight, and the executive session personnel and contractual issues I will defer to the end of the meeting. Mary,
Yes, so we have snow removal bids. I have a memo here from Dennis Mays. Speaking of some concerns he has with the lowest bidder. So I'd like to ask the board, either you want to table this for discussion, since the next lowest bidder is only 1,000 more than that one. I think he has well-documented information here that would raise concerns for not moving forward on hiring the vendor.
so I just want to jump in here. Vinny, the vendor we're talking about, who has the low bid, at times, we've had some challenges with lawn mowing and him not responding to Dennis. He always responds to me. I've never had a problem, but there are times we've had to remind him of what the contract for the lawn maintenance bids requires of him. We've never had a problem with him with the sidewalks. He's always been very prompt with the sidewalks, getting them done
As far as snow,
as far as snow. That being said, if, you know, the board has genuine concerns, if you express your genuine concerns, as to why he should not be selected, being as he was low bidder, and, you know.
well, I'd like to take Mr. May's recommendations if he's dealing with him. And if he's not referring to lawn maintenance, he does say that for the summer, the landscaping he's documented 17 times that he sent him a text or a phone call with no response. So I think that, I believe that we've had Colonial for several years, right, at least.
Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't see any harm in moving forward with another company, especially since they're only about 1,000. I think he's got $1,400 more for the year.
Well,
And,
then let me chime in on that. You know, the next lowest bidder is 845.
Mhm.
Now, we've had 845 doing lawn maintenance here, never the sidewalk, but lawn maintenance.
well, which is why
And
I'm
it-
saying that I don't think that we have to have this done right now, because the contract is from December through March, and we're not in November yet. I guess we'd have some time that
So-
we could sit down and talk about it and maybe speak to Dennis and see what his concerns are. I mean,
Would
obviously.
you like to table this till you have
That's-
more time to
yes.
talk to Dennis?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
we
would.
can do that.
I just want you to agree.
Okay. But
Yeah.
I just want to point out that the contract is more than just December to March, because there's a provision in the contract for snowstorms prior.
Prior to, yes, I saw that and I looked
and
at those
after.
fees.
Yeah, so
I do, I get it.
motion to table?
I
Motion
just
changed.
want to comment too. I agree. I think we should take Dennis Mays's recommendations into consideration, since he's the one who deals with them. It's great that he answers you, but Dennis is the one who has to work with him and and when Dennis is saying that he doesn't always do what is contractually required and lacks any kind of professional communication, I think that's a concern. There was also another communication, I don't know if this was today.
We got another one recently from Dennis as well, which I was very concerned about.
He's recommending Lake Mayapack landscaping because he's heard some. He feels that he could work better with them, so
Mm.
we could probably, we should take that into consideration as well.
They were kind of in the middle.
Yeah,
Because you sound like you have concerns about 845 as well, so.
I don't have concerns with big four.
Oh, I thought you said we had.
No, I said that we've used them in the past for lawn maintenance and they've done a great job. My only concern with the 4-5 was, you know, he did get the bid this year for, doing the lawn maintenance, but only one, so he declined the, offer.
Mm.
But other than that, no, Vinny's very professional. 845 does a great job. And I have no concerns about him at all. So I see.
But he
the point-
declined.
Point being, there's no reason to skip over 845 to go to the third bidder.
Okay.
But
Motion to table.
we have a second.
In a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next,
Okay, next we just have a recreation request for some, chair cushion cleaning. We have a, non-bid procurement request form went out. We had 3 bidders and the lowest one came in as ANC Facility Management Corporation. So I'd like to make a motion to approve ANC Facility Management Corporation in the amount of $2,000 to provide chair cushioning cleaning for the recreation center. So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
I believe that that's it.
Peter,
Okay, first item on my agenda is the wetland renewal fees. We do have a resolution here. We do have some transactions from wetland applicants, and we have a wetland fee schedule. So is this an updated fee schedule? Is this what we
so this
talked
is,
about at the last meeting with, we had that resident that was looking to use his funding that the previous permit, same project. He was gonna.
yes,
want
so
to-
from the last meeting, the discussion was that we had somebody who allowed their wetlands application to lapse. It was a fairly. One more. It was a fairly complicated application and the wetland fee was fairly expensive. And because it lapsed now under our current policy, he would have to pay the original application fee.
He actually did pay the original.
He actually did pay the original application fee, but asked for the town board to consider something different because it's really just a very quick review to make sure there are no changes in circumstance. Our town attorney has suggested that we look at some sort of progressive fee. So what I did is I made a chart for everybody showing, you know, what the initial fee would be. And understand that most of the application fees are only $100. And I started off at 1,000. And then what the renewal fee would be.
Because this gentleman paid a $4,500 original, if I remember correctly, right?
Something like that, yes. So, my recommendation at this point to the board is that rather than just pick a 5%, 10%, 25% of the original fees, that we do a flat fee of $200 plus 5% of the original fee.
Plus 5, so and then be 425. You said it was gonna be maybe 4 or 5 hours of review time.
Yeah.
Right? 200 plus 5%. Oh, you had given a list of some other applications, correct?
Yep.
This doesn't. play around.
Mhm.
Let's see. So it's rare to have a permit that runs $3,000 to $6,000, but they do occur occasionally.
Mhm.
Well, in those cases, it would be, $400 to $600 for the renewal. Now, if we had said that does not include if there are significant changes in the design or in the site then that would be evaluated to
Whole new
a whole new application. So then the normal fee would apply. As long as the town is covered for their hours, right, that we're not charging people unnecessarily. As long as the review time is covered by the fees, then that's exactly what we should be doing. I think that's fine.
Mhm.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
My only question is with the resolution. So, if we were to pass it, we would, or I'd make a motion to, pass this resolution as read, adding the $200 plus 5% fees, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, next I have a memo here from our acting highway superintendent, doing a fantastic job. He's requesting a new hire. I'd like to request to hire Thomas Healy to fill a position left vacant when he became the highway superintendent. He has some experience in the Dutchess County Highway Department in Dutchess County. And he's very familiar with all facets of highway work, so he looks like a great candidate. So we do not have any, do we have a salary that he would be hired under?
It's as per the CSEA agreement.
I'd like to make a motion to hire Thomas Keeley for the highway department as per the union agreement. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is all I.
Can I just ask what his title is going to be? Because I don't see it on here.
I would imagine it's gonna be MEO. It's gotta be
Okay.
MEO.
That's the entry.
I'm just, he's replacing, Ed was a, HEO or?
No, he's actually replacing Jay Tompkins, who is put in his papers for retirement.
Oh, okay,
So the
Got it.
position became vacant when
okay.
Ed was appointed to acting and then other moved up, so that left the bottom position opens.
Okay.
Charles?
I actually have, repair estimates from, Peak Power, Systems, which handles all of our generators. And, this is for 1 year, right?
Excuse me?
1 year, right?
No, this is repair estimates.
Oh, just the repairs. I'm sorry, you got it. Okay, so for repairs to the highway garage, it'd be $1,124. The cart, where the generator is located over by Cartwright Tet, the $875 and change. And up at Corwell Meadows, $1,307 and change. A grand total of $3,303.98. I'll make a motion that the town board approve these estimates from Peak Power Systems for those 3 locations to maintain our town generators. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just want to point out to everybody that there were actually 4 repair estimates included, and we have opted not to do the last one because we don't believe it's necessary at this time. We're going to monitor the generator. That's the generator at Patterson Village.
Okay, next is the Maple Avenue Monument. And as a lot of people know, there was a car accident up there that where we had to replace the flagpole and shrubbery and everything else. And next or last, hopefully, we need to replace the spotlight for the flagpole. And we got a quote from Healy Electric, who's done a ton of work for the town, and the cost is $805. I'll make a motion that the town board approve this quote from Healy Electric to replace the old spotlight up at Maple Avenue Monument. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, other business. Got a couple of things that came in today. First is we have conference request form for our assessor, and actually the two individuals working in the assessment office. Estimated cost is $55. So I'd like to move that we allow Amanda Tompkins and Quinn Irving to attend the income, whatever that is, redefined RPTL 467 online Zoom conference. So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, second thing that came in today, we have a request from our town planner to establish a sick bank. Most of you may not be aware, but unfortunately, one of the secretaries, the secretary for the zoning board, Caitlin, actually had an accident, not on town property, but she has broken her leg. And she doesn't have a lot of sick time accumulated. And so Shannon is actually generously offering some of her sick time. So I'd like to make a motion, we establish a sick bank for Caitlin Gallagher. So moved. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone else? Other business?
I do actually. Since the vape shop is closed over on Front Street, I wanted to, get on the next agenda, hopefully the November 8th agenda. I feel as though that it's a public health and safety issue that we did opt out of the lounges and venues so that maybe we could talk about, local licensing and, getting involved in that. And I wanted to invite some local content experts that are leaders in developing policies for, putting together, the local licensing. I wanted to invite a representative from the American Lung Association and also the Prevention Council of Putnam. And I figured they could come in and speak and we can start talking about getting involved in that so we can prevent. There was a lot of concern about that shop. It didn't last, obviously. It wasn't the draw for it, but, it's an area, there's a school, there's a library, there's, the rec center. And I just hope that we could get a jump on that before someone else comes in and wants to bring something in.
Both by 10.
So, can we get that on the next agenda?
Absolutely.
And I'll invite
Yes.
and I'll let you know if they can, I didn't take the liberty to invite anyone yet, but I just had started looking into it and I'll see that they can attend and.
All right, let me just make sure, confirm with me that they can attend.
Yes, I will.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. That'd be great.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Well, did you do rabies?
Want to do announcements under the list?
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, these happen every couple of months. Coming up on Saturday, November 18th, 2023, from 10 a.m. to noon at the Veterans Memorial Park in Kent. That's like the 4-H fairgrounds, so everybody knows it as. The Putnam County Health Department will be hosting a free rabies vaccination clinic. Bring your dogs, cats, or ferrets to be vaccinated. You must be a Putnam County resident. If you need more information, you can either go to the Health Department website or call 845-808-1390 for more information. Thank you. Good call. Thank you.
Okay, public recognition. Anybody here in the audience tonight have any comments they wish to make? If you would please approach the mic and give your name for the record and your address and state your comments.
A little short. Can everybody hear me?
Vertically challenged.
Perfect. Laura Russo, 89 Slater Road. I received this letter about septic pumping,
Correct?
and it says that I haven't pumped since the original inception date of 2011.
Correct.
So the first thing is that it took 12 years to figure that out, which is pretty sad, but I have all my receipts.
Okay, if you
So
could
I
provide-
will be resubmitting them, but I just don't think it was fair that you publicly bashed me on your website saying that I didn't do it. So I think if you had your records evaluated first, then you started sending out letters, it would have been better.
Hey Laura, can I ask just for my own edification, what company do you use? Because we are having problems with some companies sending in the documentation.
Tyndall,
Thank you.
All right,
So why are we foiling for candidates that are running for town board? Why are we foiling about information about their septic tanks and all of a sudden, how many years was it?
well, it says that this started in 2011. This program, and that I haven't pumped since before that. So
Why-
that also goes back on the record that Pat Ploger stood here twice in 2019. I think it was March, but the other one was September 11th, 2019, and asked Rich to get this going. So it's taken that long to get it going. But the bottom line is that it's
Targeting.
being
Well,
done
it's-
and you,
Laura, I'm sorry that, if you've been having your septic pumped, when you got the letter, I wish you had just contacted the building department and provided them your receipts. You didn't do that. We have been having problems with Tyndall. Absolutely.
okay, and that's fine, but I didn't think it was urgent until I was bashed on your page. So that's why I thought I should go on record that people are pumping and maybe it is the fault of the companies. But I was told that Tyndall is pretty accurate.
No, actually, Tyndall is one of the biggest offenders,
Oh, okay.
and when that letter came out, they received a number of phone calls from people. And actually dropped off probably 200 slips in here
Okay,
one day. Yours was not in,
all right, well,
so
I will make copies for the Board of Health and the town of
I-
Patterson.
we'd appreciate
But
it.
I do want to go on record that I have all my receipts.
Great, thank you.
Actually have a question to that because actually I use Tyndall. And when I called to be pumped, I confirmed that he reports to the county. So is that,
That is partially correct. So
okay,
what happens is,
by the way,
Later.
I do mine every 2 years, sometimes 18 months.
So if I can jump in, what I received from Tyndall was that, yes, they are submitting electronically to the county. I don't know that that's necessarily true.
so ironically, Tyndall's office, I think, wiped out our office of all the forms yesterday or the day before because we had to order another batch quickly, another couple of thousand forms. But essentially, it's a quadruplicate form when they fill it out, which not every contractor is 100%, but they're getting better because they realize that all the towns in Putnam County are getting better about enforcing this rule, which did go in effect over 10 years ago. One copy goes to the homeowner. And it's not a receipt like you get, that's different. It talks about the integrity of the system, the septic tank, the fields. One copy comes to the health department. One copy is supposed to go to the town and the septic contractor is who sends that. It's not your responsibility. It's usually the company doing the pumping's responsibility is to submit those forms. And I can tell you in the health department, we look for any signs of any evidence of failure. The good part is many times by the time we get the form, the problem's already been resolved because they tell the homeowner, look, you have a problem with your tank, there's a hole in it, or you have a problem with your fields. Just know I have to report this to the health department, but you probably have a couple of weeks time. So if you jump on it quickly, you can fix it, which is great. At the end of the day, everybody wins. So that is a rule that went into effect, I think, in 2011 from the DEC under the MS4 program. And I think Putnam Valley was the first town that really got on it a couple of years ago, sending these letters to the residents saying, we're not saying you didn't do it. We don't have record of it. It's likely if you've done it, send us a copy of the receipt and let's get on it, that kind
So
of thing.
do we know if
So it's
there's,
not a like you weren't given a violation for it. No, you get a letter that says, we don't have any record of it. Send us the info. If you don't do it within 60, 90 days, sometimes.
But that didn't say it in the letter.
No, I'm telling you some of the letters.
Who was the letter from?
Bob McCarthy,
For the town?
Yeah, Bob
What was it
McCarthy,
Required.
What was the date on that?
September 14th.
We know how many other residents receive such letters on?
I was just gonna
September
ask that,
14th?
are other residents getting these letters and
So there were about 460 letters, I believe, that went out. roughly.
And then my other part is that you said Putnam Lake. How come the entire town of Patterson isn't getting the letters? Or aren't getting the
Because we're
letters?
phasing this, as I explained to you at the meeting. You know, we have been doing passive enforcement on this. We've been, when people come in for permits or when they come in for title searches, we verify that it has been done. If it hasn't been done, we ask for their records. That's the way we've been handling it. At the August meeting of the Park Advisory Board, everybody wanted to, you know, be a little bit more aggressive. Actually, we should be finding everybody right away.
Absolutely.
Right? So I believe in compliance rather than penalties. So I came back and I talked to Mr. McCarthy and encouraged him to, you know, send a letter out just reminding people.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? All right, at this time, we'll open it up to any member joining us by Zoom. If any member joining us by Zoom has any comments or questions, if you would unmute, state your name and address for the record. Okay, George, no tip? All right, I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Motion, we're in executive.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you all for coming.
George, there's gotta be programmed.